What is up, everyone? This is Omegabalmung here with, of course, a top 5 most disappointing games of the year. And like I said, the year is coming down. Just a few days left until 2015, until 2014 is over. We're heading to 2015, and of course, just like every year, everybody needs a top 10 list or top 5, whatever one they want, what they want to do. Fortunately, I don't think I played enough games where I could really, or I played a lot of games, but I didn't play enough of it to really gauge it to be in my top 5 or my top 5 that are most disappointed. But like I said. These are going to be my top 5 most disappointing games of the year, so let's get started. At the number 5 spot, it is Borderlands, the pre-sequel. I really didn't, have too much hope for it until, I've seen more gameplay of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's getting better and better. Looks just like Borderlands, which I don't mind it. It plays like Borderlands. It has all that of what Borderlands is. But to me, it felt like it didn't have the heart or soul of the Borderlands series, from Borderlands 1 and 2. I felt like it was fun playing through the game. Listening to the chatting from different characters, from different NPC characters and things like that. That was awesome. I felt like this one didn't have as much as it, and the storyline itself is little meh. I mean, all Borderlands game storylines are pretty meh, but this one was just really, I really didn't remember what the heck I was doing. All I know is I was in space, but I had some cool like space combat and things like that. Being able to jump high and then body slam or stomp on the ground to cause more damage. Things like that's cool. But a lot of it was just, like I said, the heart and soul of the game. I just didn't feel like I was playing the game, playing a Borderlands game, other than the controls itself. And of course on the PS3, it didn't run that great. It was okay at best. I'm just hoping if they do make a PS4 version, I probably will buy that also, but just, it plays a little bit better. Another thing is really the difficulty of the game itself. It's not so difficult that, you can't play by yourself, but it is up there to a point where there are missions where you have to have another person with you, or maybe two people with you. I just felt like some of the missions you can't really do by yourself. Some of the enemies are a little bit more powerful than you think. They're a little bit smarter, I think so. They kind of just dodge and things like that. It feels like that, and it feels like every time I shoot something, it would never hit hit the enemy. So I don't know, maybe that detection is a little bit off, but that's what I feel like. But anyways, like I said, number 5 on my top 5 most disappointing games of the year is Borderlands, the pre-sequel. At the number 4 spot, it is Madden 15. I think Madden is always on my list because I have really high hopes for this game. I mean, I'm a big fan of football. That is my number 1 sport. And, I was hoping going in this Madden because they actually have that extra time to build it on the PS4 or the new the current gen as we call it now, but it was next gen a few years back. They had like a year, maybe hopefully next year they could build up on that, but this one wise the physics are off. I mean, I had times where I would make a tackle and it would just totally miss, or when I get tackled and I will roll like 10 yards. I had that happen so many times, all that wonky physics. I had times where the other players will just gingerly touch me and I just fall down. I was like, oh my gosh, my dude fell down on the ground. That was what gets me the most in the Madden games. Other than that, I still wish we still had some pretty cool, things like the combine, NFL combine, when you're playing your superstar. Other little small things like that, or like the 2K5, of course, was it 2K5, whatever, one of the 2K football games. Having that presentation wise would be a little bit better. I wish they went back to licensed music. I love that because every time I hear it, I'm always singing along with the song and things like that. I love that from the past Madden games. Another really just minor thing that I really didn't it bothers me. I don't know if it bothers anybody else, but at least on the PS4 version, it's just a really minor thing that kind of bugs me a bit, mostly when you're choosing plays and things like that, or even typing your name for your coach or your player. Sometimes when you hit, up and down or left and right too many times, it'll skip or you're trying to, go up, 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 and then, you want to go up a few times. You press up 3 times. Sometimes it'll hit instead of 3, it'll go up 4 times. And things like that just really bothers me, because sometimes when you're choosing plays, you would, hit right 2 times, and then it'll just automatically register it 1 more time, and then you'll go to the next playbook, and you pick the wrong play, and it's just things like that, and man, it just really, really bothers me. But like I said, I'm hoping to see what they can do for next year, because now they are on another year of cycle of Madden. Hopefully we can see something a little bit better from them. Just keeping my hands crossed. So, like I said, number 4 on my list is Madden 15. At the number 3 spot, it is Lords of the Fallen. So, oh my gosh, this is probably one of the games I was looking forward to, because just the fact that it looked a little bit like, some of my favorite games, Demon Souls and Dark Souls. It has that, an aesthetic of the game itself, looking like that. It plays like that. The movement of the characters are heavy. This game is a lot heavier than what you think it is. It's, Dark Souls, your guy kind of chugs along, going really kind of smoothly, and he just feels heavy or looks heavy, but he's, your character's a little bit more agile than you think. And this one, the main character himself is just super heavy. When you try to dodge left and right, I don't know if I picked the right class or anything like that. I tried the other classes. It just felt a little bit more heavier. You're trying to dodge roll and then hit. I have problems with the hit detection, I guess. I don't know if it's hit detection, but I feel like I'm close enough to the enemy, but when I hit him, it's a miss. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? So I lose a lot of times where, I'm just trying to hit an enemy, and then it'll just be like a whiff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to I have to move back again, get the guy to attack me again, and things like that. I also got to the point where, and this is pretty much where I pretty much quit, because I'm like, it shouldn't take me 5 minutes to beat this enemy. I'm talking about the guys with the shields. I have problems with them. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I played through Dark Souls, I played through Demon Souls. Dark Souls 2, I haven't really gone through it yet, but it's coming off of the PS4, so I'm buying it too. So, but I do have the patience to fight things, so I do have the patience for it. But in this one, I just can't do it. I'm looking at it; it just holds the shields up, and I'm just trying to whack away at it, and I'm looking to move, dodge to the left, or kind of move around it, hit them, and do things. It just takes so long that literally I just drop my control. I'm like, I think I'm done with this game. Other things are like the frame rate's pretty decent. I'm okay with like Dark Souls and things like that. Frame rate from there, I'm okay with that. But the screen tearing is freaking horrible in this game. It's bad. That's like I say. Every time you kind of almost move the camera left and right, it screen tears. I'm taking screenshots of it. I had so many times where my screenshots had like a tear in it. It's just not fun. I just found this game to be, just a little bit too boring on that side. I love the premise of it. I love it to be like more of a Dark Souls, and that's the reason why I actually bought this game is because of that. But it just never lived up to that. Even I mean, like a bit of it. I would love to play some more of it. Maybe if I get more time. There's those shield characters sucks. That's all I can say. But the game just kind of fell flat for me. It was one of the games I was looking forward to this year. So, and I think I actually have a video for my top 5 or whatever games that were left, for the end of the year, and that was one of them. So, unfortunately, it fell flat for me. It might have been good for other people, but yeah. So, anyways, that is my number 3 of most disappointing game of 2014. All right, at the number 2 spot, we're getting there. Number 2 and 1, that was the big debate for me to see which one was. Which one is which one. And then number 2, I had to go with Destiny for the PS4 or PS4 and Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS3, whatever. I do have the PS4 version. I had high hopes for this. I know story-wise, I wouldn't really care about it, so a lot of people are pretty mad that the story wasn't that great. I literally beat it. I'm like, oh shit, I already beat it. Oh crap, I didn't even bother with that. But a lot of the facts of it still played well. Not well. Played great. But when it came down to it, it wanted to be an MMO, but at the same time, it cut back on a lot of what it wants to be. There's no matchmaking. I would love to see some matchmaking for, any of the 8-person raids or whatever. It's 8-person raids. I want to see matchmaking for a lot of the 4-person stuff that you do. I It's just weird to me to wrap my head around that. Is really, I know that's, it's better to make a party and then head out to those things. But what happened to people who, I don't have time to sit there and go through these websites and go, hey, I want to, party up. Let's party up real quick here. And then, I have to wait 5 minutes later down the line to get into a party. I mean, there are ways to do that too. I mean, there's matchmaking. To me, it would be great to see. I felt like the game was a little bit too short on the side. The story missions were pretty much, oh hey, do this. Okay, now you open that. Okay, now what are you gonna do? Protect the ghosts. And a lot of missions were just like that. And it was just like, really, I gotta fight waves and waves of enemies. Great. I did like a lot of the boss fight. They were pretty cool, but really just to get to the boss fight was a pain in the ass to do. But like I said, my really main complaint about the game was just really it needed matchmaking. It needed all that stuff to get into these matches quicker, these raids quicker. Just like how I played a lot of MMOs, and a lot of time was kind of like that. But now a lot of the MMOs have swapped to kind of a party system where you can just queue up for something, and then you get into that party. And if you're lucky, you get into a really good one. Most of the time, a lot of people are pretty good at what they're doing. And this is not really like an MMO where each person has to play a role in something. Like he has to heal, he has to cause damage, he has to tank. Everybody kind of just pretty much has to be able to keep themselves alive, and if they do die, somebody will come revive you and things like that. So it's not really oh, I need a healer, oh, I need a tank, oh, I need a DPS. So I really don't get why that. I still can't wrap my head around that. Hopefully, if they do make a Destiny 2 or something like that, or maybe like a year along the line, they'll add that into the system, and that'll make it great. Oh, and just one more thing before I sign off on this one. Why don't we have chat boxes? I don't get it. I don't get it. Why don't we have chat boxes in the tower? I don't get that. Instead of going to the website and be like, hey, can I get somebody to invite me to the party because I'm looking for this? They don't have that. I don't get it. But like I said, this is my number 2 of my top 5 most disappointed games of 2015. Or 14, I should say. So we're getting there. We're getting to number 1. So at the number 1 spot for my top 5 most disappointing games of 2014, it is Watch Dogs. I was super hyped for it. I mean, this showed it off like 2-3 years ago, and they showed off this cool little concept of the game. You could hack people, you can do this and do that. It looked fluid, it looked and all that, and then it got delayed, and we're like, oh, maybe it's nothing. Maybe they're just trying to figure out some small things about it. And I feel like this is kind of like the Ubisoft effect of their game makings, because if you remember Assassin's Creed when it first came out, I wasn't a big fan of it. I mean, literally, I'm just like, this game is kind of boring, blah blah blah. I just didn't like it. You're doing all these things are wrong. And then Assassin's Creed 2 came out, and luckily enough, I'm like, oh, maybe I will pick it up and see how it is, because you know what, I'm giving it another shot. And then that's the reason why I love the Assassin's Creed series until Unity. But anyways, but I'm just hoping that this game kind of has that effect. It would have been better if it didn't have that effect, where it was just a great game from the start, and you don't have to wait for Watch Dogs 2 or something like that. I'm just hoping, at least now that we've seen the game itself, it's a pretty average game. It doesn't do anything well. Even the driving sucks in this game, unless you're on a bike. That's where I think it excels at. You can't shoot out of the cars, I guess, because you're not really a character like in Grand Theft Auto, where your morals are all over the place, or like in Saints Row. But I mean, there are times where you're fighting against these gangsters and things like that, where you can't even do that. So it's kind of weird. It's just the small things like that to me that you know, kind of bothers me a bit. And then, you know, there's a few little things that I did like about it. I mean, I like the things where the missions where you actually have to stop people, or like, I guess, muggers, or just plain bad guys from you know, killing people and things like that. I like things like I like those little missions like that. But other than that, that's the whole game itself to me was pretty meh-ish. My hype for it was pretty high, you know, just because this is supposed to be one of the new next gen type of game where, you know, it's supposed to set up this whole world and things like that, and it just was average. So like I said, hopefully we do see a little bit more. If they do make a Watch Dogs 2, hopefully we do see a little bit more from that. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Watch Dogs, still am, but it still wasn't that great. It wasn't that wow factor that, you know, I thought it was going to give me. So fortunately, this is my number one on the list. Like I said, I was debating against Watch Dogs and Destiny, but this was actually the first game that they came out and said, hey, this game's going to look like this. Not look like this, but I knew it was not going to look like that on the PS4. It's going to look like this, play like this, and, you know, you're going to have fun doing it. And I played it, and I had an okay time with it. So anyways, Watch Dogs is my number one most disappointing games of 2014. So, and of course, I do have a top, you know, 5 games of 2014, so look out for that. And you thought it was over. Nope, it is not. I do have a little special giveaway. I actually have 2 of them. One of them is going to be in this video, one of them is going to be in the next video, which is my top 5 games for 2014. And of course, I bought myself an Xbox One. I was given 2 free games for that. So these are Xbox One's games that I got from you know, the deal they had for buying an Xbox One. Of course, you get the 2 free games from the Assassin's Creed series, and of course you get Black Flag and Unity. This one is actually going to be for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Like I said, this is actually for the Xbox One, so if you got a PS4 and things like that, don't redeem it. Don't even bother. I guess you could do something with it, but I'm not going to say don't do anything, but maybe you can give it to somebody else if you do win it. But like I said, I'm doing this one for the Assassin's Creed Black Flag. All you have to do is leave a comment on the bottom there of where my video is, and then give me like a top 5 list of your most disappointing games of this year, or you just do one game that, you know, you were looking forward to and it just never panned out for you. So like I said, leave a comment, 5, you know, your top 5 games that you were most disappointed for 2014, or just one game that you were really looking forward to, and just leave a comment, and I'll pick out of the random comments, and I'll give you guys numbers like I always do in my my giveaways. Pick up, you guys are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I do a random number search, and then you get the game, and I'll send you it through, of course, YouTube, and then I'll just give you the code for that, and you can redeem it. And then just give me a holler back if you didn't redeem it yet, or you redeemed it, so I know that it's gone. But so anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video that I just posted, and hopefully look out for the next video. And of course, it is my top 5 games of 2014.